Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's demo, which will be about the new features in AerScreen for Windows 3.02. As usual with our demos, we have some slides, and I'll also show the changes in the software itself in AerScreen for Windows. So there have been 3 changes that have been introduced in this version. And the first one is on the run screen, and that is that we now have input diagnostics for your model set up, which I'll go through next. And also when it comes to working with terrain data, we have added two new features there. One is that you can download NED or National Elevation Data Set elevation files in AerScreen. And the other is in the way that you enter the source location into AerScreen. You can now use latitude and longitude coordinates to do that. All right, so our first change is that now whenever you try to run the model, AerScreen for Windows checks your inputs to see if there are any missing or invalid inputs. And after it does that, the run screen displays any error messages that result from missing or invalid inputs. If there are no errors, you can go ahead and run the model. If there are errors, it will display the error message to you and won't let you run the model. And in the next 2 slides, I have screenshots of what that looks like. So in the first screenshot, you can see that the input diagnostics are broken down by input area, such as sources, meteorological data, and receptors. And in this example, we do have one error in the terrain section. It says no terrain files selected. What that means is that you have told AerScreen that you will use terrain files to calculate source and receptor elevations, but you haven't actually specified any files. And as you can see, at this point, the run button is disabled and you can't run the model. In the next screenshot, we have selected some terrain files. And now the message here in the terrain section has changed. Now it says no errors found in terrain data. And at this point, since there are no errors in the model, now you can go ahead and click the run button to run it. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our program and show what that looks like. So for example, let's say we just start with a completely new model run where we haven't entered anything yet. And by default, AerScreen will set up a point source for you, but not enter any parameters. So now if I click run, as you see, there are multiple error messages in the source section since we haven't really entered any information about our source yet. Once we do enter the mission rate and stack information, there will not be any error messages here, and then we will be able to run it. And in this model that I've opened right now, we do have terrain files, and we have selected the terrain file. Now when we click run, you see that there are no errors in any of these input sections of the model. Okay. There are no errors in any of the inputs. So now we can go ahead and start the model run, which I won't be doing in this example. Okay, so the other 2 changes are, as I said again, in working with terrain data. And I mentioned NED files earlier, and what elevation files are, they're files with information about the terrain elevations above mean sea level for various data points within the region, such as a county. And you need these files to determine the elevations for your sources and receptors that will be modeled in AerScreen. So in version 3.02, we've added a new button called Download NED file, which will allow you to obtain these files, the elevation files. And the process is that you click that button, it will take you to the SGS website where you download the files. And then once you have them on your computer, you also need to select the files so that AerScreen for Windows will use them, and so that the AerScreen model will use them. And again, I have some screenshots on the following slides. The first screenshot is of the screen that you see when you click that button. AerScreen will take your receptor settings and generate a download area based on those settings. And you can actually adjust this area before you click the download NED file button to your liking if you need a slightly larger or smaller area of data to be downloaded. And then in the next screenshot, we have the terrain file selection step, which is where you have to select the TIF file on the drop-down list here. That's for NED files. We have the TIF extension. You have to select the file you downloaded and add it to the area on the right. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to the software now to demonstrate that. So again, we have our example model file here, and on the terrains, I have set up some receptors that go out about 1,000 meters away from our stack. And now if I go to terrain options, we now have this new button on the upper right called Download NED file. And again, the download area is automatically filled in, and you can adjust that. And actually, in this case, I will just as an example. And now when I click the download NED file button here, that will open the web browser and take me to the USGS website, where all you need to do now is click the download button, and that will download your selected area. I've actually already done that, and the file that comes back is a zip file with multiple files inside it. And the contents of that file, which you have in this folder here, are that you have multiple metadata files, and then you have your actual elevation file, which again has the TIF extension. So what I've done here is I've copied this TIF file and the XML file over to my main project folder, which is this demo folder. So again, the downloaded files, there are multiple files in there. The one you need is the TIF and the XML. Okay, so now that I have the files on my computer, going back to AerScreen for Windows, I'd say cancel here, and then go to my terrain file selection. And here, as I said, we have, and here I have to select the TIF file extension for that file to be shown. And then I go ahead and add it to my set of files that will be used in the model run. And the other thing that we added to this screen is the details button, where if you have that XML file in the same folder as your TIF file, you can click on the details button, and it will tell you the extent of the area that you downloaded from the website, both in degrees latitude and longitude, as well as UTM coordinates. So this is the area that this is the area that's covered by the elevation data file that we just obtained. And again, if we later, let's say later on we want to expand our receptor grid to, let's say 1.5 kilometers, we can do that, click OK, go back here, so let's download another file, and then AerScreen will adjust your download area accordingly so that you can download the larger area, so that you can download the new file that will have all the new receptors inside it. Oh, and now that I have selected my NED file with the TF extension, I click close, OK, and then from the model, and the model will use that file. Okay, and finally, the other change is that now you can input your source coordinates in either UTM coordinates or latitude and longitude. Whichever one you input, the coordinates will be converted either to or from latitude and longitude. And in the next screenshot, I have the data entry screen. So we have selected our terrain file. Now we can go ahead and enter the source coordinates. And again, the new part here is this geo section where you have the latitude and longitude coordinates. And that's what we have here as well. So let's say if I change something here, as you see, the UTM coordinates changed after I typed in the latitude and longitude coordinates in the section on the right. Well, that is our demo for today. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and I will now go ahead and take questions from the audience. Thank you.